Hello and welcome to part 19. So this is the final part of level 1. So if you've got this far, well done for sticking with me this far. And hopefully you've now got to the stage where, you know, we've covered all the basics. We can program some MIDI clips and mix them up with audio clips. We can organize our arrangement a little bit in the session view, and so on, and kind of make up a little bit of an arrangement. And a lot of this stuff is just trial and error. It's just keep doing it over and over again until you kind of, you know, get really familiar with it, and your workflow will start to improve all the time. So our final part is to now record our arrangement to the arrangement view, and then actually get it out of Ableton Live in a format that you can use to upload to SoundCloud, share with your friends, distribute wherever, whatever you want to do with it. So to record our arrangement, we're going to be using our global record button up here, which is the circle here. So this basically records anything we do into the arrangement. Okay. So any changes we do here, and it's going to record it into the arrangement view for us. You've got two options with this. Now, the default setting is you'll have a tick by this normally, which is start playback with record. So what will happen is when I hit record, it will start playing, right? Okay, without having to do anything. Now, well, not always without having to do anything. If you can see them here, my tracks were sort of this scene here was armed to play already. So as soon as it started playing, they started playing, and I don't want to start my arrangement with that. To make sure nothing's armed, just click on your stop button here. Now, if we do it again this way and click record, okay, now nothing's going to happen until I actually play something. So if I play, hold on, let me just get rid of, there we have, just want to check we've got nothing recorded in the arrangement view. No, we haven't. Right, so let's just do that again. So if I now press play there, okay, I'm just going to stop it. You can see it's recorded over here, but we've got this gap here. So if you want to make sure that you're starting right on beat 1, you would have to hit record and then quickly get over here and press play, right? Which can, you know, be a little bit hit and miss sometimes. So I will have that turned off. All right. So what will happen is we hit record. It's going to basically now wait until we launch a scene to start recording. So as soon as I press play on here, it will start recording. So it'll all be nice and neat recording from beat 1. So what I'm going to do is just going to go through this arrangement and just quickly record it. So here we go. Okay, and we will stop it there. Obviously, if you listen to that, you think, okay, I could make a few improvements to that. You know, you might want to extend some of your drum loops out and put some little drum fills and stuff in there, but I'm going to try and keep it simple as now. Right, so we've recorded it. If I hit the tab button, or we can choose the arrangement view over here, but I'm going to press tab. You can see it's now recorded our arrangement into the arrangement view. Now, if I play it on here, let me just check none of these are armed. Okay, now if I play it on here, you'll be thinking, hang on, it's not working. I can't hear anything. And everything's grayed out. That's because we've been working in session view. So live sort of thinks that if we're in session view, that's the one that sort of stays in focus, even when we've switched over to this view here. So we've got this orange button here, which is our back to arrangement button. Or we've got individual tracks down here. So if I wanted to hear, say, just this one, okay, if I click on that, you can see it's now here. And if I go over to there, that will play, he says. Okay, so that's useful if you want to kind of have play on here and have some clips still playing in session view, but we want the whole thing to be not grayed out in here so we can hear the whole arrangement. So we click on this one. This is our back to arrangement button. Click on that. It now brings this window into focus. Okay, and everything will play on here. Okay, so we can listen to our arrangement that we've just recorded. So once you've got an arrangement that we're happy with, obviously you can go and edit it in here. You can make changes in this view, or you can re-record it from the session view if you wish. Our next job is to export the audio. So we've got like one single copy of our, so like one track for our song. So what happens is we want to go to File, and then down here, Export Audio and Video. Okay, don't worry about video yet. We're just dealing with audio. Now, on the rendered track, you've got various options here. We can do individual tracks, selected tracks. What we want for now is master. So that means all of this is going through our master track here. So basically what this is playing is what will be what's called rendered, will be exported from the software. So we've got the render start and we've got the render length. So you've got to make sure that this is, you want to obviously start from the beginning, and if you don't select anything, what it will do, it will render the length up to the last clip there. So you can see the render length is 40 bars, which if we zoom in on here, you see our song is 40 bars, so it will do it that long. If you want to have a bit of silence at the end, so let's say I will go to, I don't know, so if we just highlight that section there, you only have to do it on one track, you don't have to do every track. And then we go to export. The shortcut for export is Control-Shift-R. Okay, so you can see now the render length has now changed to 41. You might want that if you end on, if you've got like a big reverb tail or something echoes out at the end, you want to make sure that you capture that on your rendering, on your exporting. So generally what you'll do is play your song and wait till you hear complete silence, and then highlight the section that you want. What we'll do for now, because I was just going to end, I'm not going to highlight anything, so let's just get rid of that. And let's just go through the other bits on the exporting. Rendering as loop, don't worry about that for now. So we've got a few options on the audio file type. Now bear in mind I'm doing this from Ableton Live 9. We've got the option for WAV file or AIFF file. I think Live 10 also has FLAC files. Generally I export as a WAV file because that's kind of compatible with everything. Again, it's down to personal preference, but do it as a WAV file. Sample rate, I always leave at 44.1 and bit depth at 16. That's basically CD quality. So if you're exporting your tracks and sending them off to a distributor to go onto Spotify or iTunes, they will expect it to be in this format. So I would just leave it at that. Don't worry about the dithering. Again, gets complicated. Analysis file, again, and normalize, convert to mono. Just leave those all off for now. You do have the option of uploading directly to SoundCloud. Now, what happens with that, I think on this one, is it will create an MP3 file for you for SoundCloud of uploading it like that. In Live 9, you don't have any option for actually exporting as an MP3 file, apart from the SoundCloud thing. I don't really use the SoundCloud thing, so I can't say for sure on that. So when you export it as a WAV file, it's going to be quite a big file. And generally, if you're going to be emailing it or sharing it around, just sending it off to somebody, you would want it as an MP3 file, possibly. For the better quality files, for like distribution, it would want to be a WAV file. So you would have to convert that WAV file to an MP3 file externally if you're using Live 9. I just do it in iTunes. It's pretty straightforward. But there are options on there. Video, again, I'm not going to worry too much about that for now. So you don't really need to worry about any of these. They're kind of set up as a standard sort of thing. The only thing is, if you want to upload to SoundCloud, everything else, leave it as it is. But just check your render length, because if you've got that clip highlighted without realizing it, if you look what happens on your render length, you can see the render start is now at bar 13 and it's only going to do 4 bars. It will only render this section of the song. So if you get weird stuff on your rendering, just check that nothing is highlighted or you highlighted the area that you want to render. Right, so all we've got to do then is hit export and it will ask us where we want to save it. So I'm going to stick it on the desktop and you give it a name. I'll just leave it untitled for now and we click on save. So the export process will take a while. If it's a long song, it can take a few minutes. This is fairly short. There's not a lot going off, so it's fairly quick. Okay, and that's done. So if I now go to my desktop, it is just here. So this is our song. So just to sort of show you that, if I bring that back in to live and we'll stick it in a new track down here. And if we just solo that, that will be our track. Okay, now one thing you might notice is that the waveform, the volume of the waveform is considerably quieter than a lot of these. That's down to how my volumes were set here. So again, don't worry too much about that at this stage. We'll get into mixing and all that kind of stuff later on in different sections. Right, final thing is just on saving. Obviously very important that you save your stuff, because I've had many instances in the past where you forget to save and your computer crashes or something happens and you've lost all your work. At the moment, I've not saved anything. So if you look up here, it's called Untitled at the moment, and we've got an asterisk by it. If there is an asterisk, that means it hasn't been saved. So if we go to File, now when you first time you save it, whatever you choose, it will ask you to put a name in here. So I'm going to just save it straight on the desktop for now. Yes, I'll save it just on the desktop for now. We'll still call it Untitled because it is untitled. Okay, so it's now doing its thing. It will ask you if you might get some sort of previous recording things. Generally, I will get rid of these so you're not clogging your hard drive up. Going down to personal preference, says down here, it's being saved under a new name. And when it's done its thing. And then once it's saved, you'll see up here, the asterisk has gone and it's telling you the name of the song and actually the folder that it's saved in. So now, whenever I make a change, let's just change the volume here. You'll see straight away an asterisk appears here. So what I generally do is I will keep kind of saving on a fairly regular basis. You also have the option of saving a copy, which is very useful if I wanted to try something out. So if I'd got like this version of my song and I think, yeah, okay, I want to just try something else out, rather than saving it under a new name, what I can do is save a copy. Okay, and it will be called Untitled Copy. And you can put it like as version 1, version 2, or whatever. I can now make changes to this, and then if I think, all right, I've stuffed it up, it sounds rubbish, I can always go back to my previous copy. There are easier ways of doing that as well now in Live 10, because it kind of automatically saves copies for you. But if you're using Live 9, you want to be doing it this way. So let's just have a quick look at the folder. So what it's done is it's created this folder here, Untitled Project. Okay. And we've got some project info and stuff in here. And we've got the copy that we just saved and the original version here. Now, one thing just to bear in mind is if I was wanting to take this to another computer, there's something that you need to just kind of make sure you do before you do that. Because if I export that and take it to my mate's computer around the corner to go and work on it with him, unless he's got exactly the same setup as I've got here with all these loops and stuff in it, that folder isn't going to have the samples in it, because the samples are in the folder wherever this was installed. All right, they're not in that project folder. So what you need to do is kind of copy them from that folder into your project folder. The way to do that is collect all and save. All right, so if I do that, it will ask you what you want to do. Just basically have all these on yes. If you click OK, what it will do, it will then find the folders on your computer where all these samples and loops are and audio tracks. It will save a copy of them. It won't remove them. It will leave them in their original place, but it will save a copy of them and put them into that folder, which I will show you in a second. Okay, it's done its thing. So if I now go back into the project folder here, we've now got a new folder called samples. Okay, so that has now taken all the samples that we need for our track and it's copied them into here. So that now means I can export that file. I can put it onto I can email it to somebody. I can put it onto a memory stick or whatever, take it to somebody else who's got a version of Ableton Live 9, open it, and it will be exactly the same as we've got here. So that collect, all and save, if you are kind of moving between different machines, is a very, very important one to remember. Right, that is it then for level 1. We're going to get more involved in stuff in level 2, get a bit more detail looking at mixing and lots of other stuff anyway. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming up at some stage in the future. So thanks for watching. Again, well done if you've got this far with it and I've not bored you to tears. If you like the videos, please like it, please subscribe, share them around as much as you want. If you've got any questions or comments, stick them in the box below. And indeed, if you've got any suggestions for future videos or anything you'd like me to cover, put that in there as well. If you wouldn't mind checking out some of my music as well on the usual digital services, Spotify and all of those, then that would be much appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon in level 2. Cheers.